Hey, welcome to the Backwoods Gourmet. Today we're going to be cooking on that new Lodge Sportsmans Pro Grill. Today we're going to use it like a stove and cook up some great wild caught bay scallops, so stay tuned. So yeah, today we're going to continue our little review of the Lodge Pro Grill, Sportsman's Grill there. That's the new version of the old Sportsman's Grill that we've had for years. I love to use it as a stove when I'm camping or even outdoors, just chilling like we are here at the studio. But I love cooking on that charcoal, natural wood, chunk, whatever we can get to go up under there for a heat source. But this dish does not necessarily mean you have to use this grill. You can do this just as good right in your own on your range in the house, or on your propane burner, or on your camp stove. So a couple weekends ago, or actually last weekend from the time we're making this video, went over to the Gulf of Mexico for my first time in the Big Bend area over around Keaton Beach. Caught some scallops. I'm gonna drop you some clips of that somewhere in this video here. Basically you snorkel for them and catch them in about 5 to 3 foot of water depending on the tide and all that kind of stuff. So the most notable thing I'm going to teach you here with this dish here today with these bay scallops is you don't get a lot of scallops, okay? If your limit's a 5-gallon bucket, you're going to get maybe 2 quarts of meat out of a 5-gallon bucket of scallops. So I designed this dish to make that amount of meat because we gotta have to share them with everybody else that went and found them too, right? So make that little amount of scallop super duper good, but go a long way and feed like 4 people. Stay tuned. Alright, unpacking the ingredients to get started with this deal. First I'm going to need some hot tap water in a pot, and today we're going to be using, I really don't like just boiling water or stuff like that in my cast iron. So DALSTRONG sent us over one of their new lines of stainless steel cookware, and I've been trying it out for a little while. It's really super duper nice. It actually comes in silk bags, if you can believe that. And it has a complete copper core in the bottom, sandwiched between the stainless. They heat up really evenly and really quick. Super stoked. You can find the link right down in our description box for automatic 10% off anything you buy from DALSTRONG, including any of their products like their cookware, silverware, or any of their knives. Okay, so now that we got business out of the way, we're going to need some hot tap water. I got some Kerrygold butter. I got 1 fresh zucchini. I didn't have enough fresh ones, so I brought some out of the freezer already pre-blanched. I'll explain more about that during when we are cooking that. Got some olive oil. Got some bow tie pasta. Farfalle, or I don't even know how you say that in Italian. I got just some regular Alfredo. Here's our precious scallops. That's about a half a bucket of shells to make that one little bag right there. I got a little bit of bacon, of course we're going to need that. And then we're going to need a few other like bowls and colanders and things like that. We're going to go on. But the first thing we're going to need is to get some water going for our pasta. And then we're going to go run out to the garden real quick and grab some more ingredients while everything's getting going. You can do this with any dish guys, as long as you got some fresh herbs, which we do have. Not real complicated, just growing in some pots out here. Let's grab some, this is rosemary. I'm trying to kind of trim it where it'll stay in a bush. Now here's the main thing I want to show you guys. This is my basil plant, and as you can see, it's flowering, and those flowers are, oh, they're just off the chain. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna strip them. I'm gonna grab them just where the flowers are, because below they're seeded already. Let's see when I show you that. So just where the flowers are, and pull up between my fingers, and that's what you get. And I can smell it from here. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna pluck a bunch of these. We're gonna use that to flavor our pasta water. So just where the flowers are, don't go any below the flowers or you'll get a bunch of seeds. Tomato plants over here, they're about done, but we got some good looking peppers and onions going on. I'm going to pick one with a nice top. Take that one since it needs a little room. And I planted these, they were supposed to be bunching onions, but apparently they're short day onions because they're making bulbs. And over here I have a pepper plant that's got a few peppers on it. And then I got a big bell pepper. I don't grow many of these because Mrs. Backwoods don't like them. Alright, let's go back to the kitchen. So back here at the kitchen, I'm just going to go ahead and strip some of the leaves and the buds off that rosemary. We'll save probably some of these. That's plenty. I'm just going to go ahead with this onion. I'm going to split them like 4 ways. You can always go get us another one for a dish. 4 ways like that. And you chop the first couple pieces up. Oh heck, let's just go put them all in there. Alright, so we're going to dump all that in there. It's going to be our pasta water eventually. Alright, so we got these scallops and they got a lot of juice in their bag. And they are pretty juicy. But we want to capture that flavor. So here I just have a screen. You could use colander also. I'm using the screen because I'll need my colander later. And I don't want to really go wash it because these are raw. This is raw seafood. So trying to avoid that cross-contamination. We'll let them drain for a minute. And all this good, yummy goodness right here is going to go right in that pasta water. Let's grab a hot pad here because that didn't take very long at all. And man, what I smell out here in the outdoor kitchen right now is just basil and rosemary. Now I'm going to go ahead and take that juice from the scallops. Alright guys, let's start getting the rest of what we're going to need tonight for this dish going. I need to get this bacon back in the, because I need to get this bacon back in the refrigerator. We'll go ahead. Tonight I got out our big DALSTRONG. I believe this one's a Gladiator series or Shogun series. It's a big Mamma Jamma. Really like this one. For all around, it's like a cleaver. And it's easy to pick your items up with it. Now, I am going to go ahead and see if we can get a regular cleaver, because just a regular cleaver is something I'm really been digging for a long time. We're going to go ahead, we're going to start just dumping this stuff over here in our bowl. So things are going to need to go into the pan first. Here I have one of my onions right out of my garden, and believe me, these Mama Jammas were huge this year. About 85% of them this side are bigger. So for this, I still want it to be have some texture to it at the end, so I'm just going to cut them long ways right with the grain of the onion. And we don't need a lot, about a quarter of that onion. And again, we didn't dice it, slice it, or any of that. We cut it long grain. Anytime you want to make something where you're still going to be able to have the texture of the onion at the end, cut it with the grain and it won't break down as badly. So if you got all fresh zucchini, you're going to want to go ahead and cut those now. Season's kind of over for us for them, but I do have some that are just blanched that came out of the garden this year. I'm going to put those in first, or these in first, and then I'll put them in, and I'll explain that in case you have only blanched ones. I'll try to explain that as we go here. If you have blanched vegetables, they don't need to be cooked as long as if you have fresh vegetables. The point I'm trying to make. So obviously those are raw. These are already partially cooked. They're blanched and frozen. So these don't hardly need, all they need to be is warmed up. Those still need a little cook, but not a lot, because I'm going to use those to give us a little added crunch to our dish. So all this is ready. So I guess you maybe be asking, what kind of cast iron are we going to be using today there, Backwoods? And today it's going to be this guy. The old Griswold chicken fryer pan from 1900s, because it's nice and deep. It's got a very nice smooth finish on it. This one still has a really good seasoning on it for 120 years old, and it's going to hold the contents we're going to put in here without splashing all over the place. So that's when I'm going to be using this one, but you can use a number of different piece of cast iron. I just like a deeper one for doing sauces. Okay, we're gonna go right over here and get this off the fire. Grab my hot bar. Take the lid off of there. Yummy stuff. All right, we're gonna pour that right back through that same sieve that we used to strain off of our scallops. Okay. I'm going to strain all that stuff out. But it has brought over all the yummy goodness. Alright, slipping on the thing there. Alright, so got that there. Put that aside. That's for the dishwasher. And this is going to be our pasta water. So we're gonna have to go wash that pot real quick and then return this back on there, and we'll cook our pasta. So if you're in a hurry, you could just cook your pasta in water. I guarantee you, I've tested this recipe over a number of years. This blows the lid off of regular old pasta. So we've been testing that periodically to see when that pasta is al dente, and right now we have hit the mark. Put that right over in the colander. Put this pot to the side here for a second. Actually, we'll bring it back over, and I'm gonna try to, without burning myself, lift that right into the pot. This pasta water that we worked so hard to build, that we're going to save. But we're going to let this drain out for now, and we'll start the rest of the dish. Alright, so that fire is burnt down a bit. We're going to go ahead at this point, I'm gonna grab this grill off of here, and I'm gonna attempt to flip it so it can get a little bit hotter. I'm gonna go to the other side. This worked pretty well. I'm so glad they opened the grates up on these things to make it work better with a Dutch oven lifter. And you see us, we have a hot spot there. It's burned through our seasoning. So while we got it up here on the hot grill, a little spray olive oil. So all I did was move our remaining charcoal to the center of the pan. I'm going to go ahead, and this part is, once that pan gets hot, this part's going to go really quick. Alright, so we've had to restoke the Sportsman's Grill, and those things have gotten down to softened up. And I'm going to go ahead, just take them out for right this minute. I'm not going to clean the pan for sure. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the pan to the side, let that fire build up a little bit. It's a big chunk of Kerrygold butter right there. Put a little bit more olive oil, just keep the butter from burning. So right now we're going in with them scallops that we caught right over there in the Gulf of Mexico. And again, it's not a lot. I could eat all them by myself, but this was my share. So that's why we're making this dish and showing you how to make it. Because you're gonna have to split these with the boat, and it takes multiple people a lot of times. Because you're picking these guys up off the grass one at a time. Even though I think I did get a couple doubles. We're gonna go ahead and just brown those off. All right, so I'm coming in with some seasoning, which we haven't done a lot of yet on any of this. I'm coming over with our favorite season, Seminole Swamp season. It's good on everything. Alright, so fire's not really hot enough to brown them, but I don't want to overcook them. So I'm going to bring in, I mean, it would be a little bit better if you could sear them. If you're doing it on your stove, it'd be a lot hotter than we are here on the Sportsman's Grill. But we're going to go ahead and put in the rest of our ingredients. That's the onions, the stuff that we done earlier. Of course, we've been having these rest of the zucchini kind of hanging out. Again, we're trying to make these little bit of scallops go far enough to feed like four or five people. So we're gonna have to add some ingredients to make that happen. Right here I have some more of our basil flour, and I'm gonna go ahead and put that in there right now. Gonna give that a little stir in. And man, the aroma from that basil flower comes up really quickly. And if you want, you can chop these zucchini up a little bit more. Find it's not really necessary. They're going to cook down. So we're going to let that come up to simmer. Might have to put a lid on. So go ahead and do that now. And this old grill is 12-inch Lodge. Fits perfect. All right, as soon as it comes back up to simmer, dump in a whole jar of Alfredo. And we kept that broth. So I'm going to take a little dip of that broth and rinse it out in the jar and put that back in there also. Looks wonderful. Alright, that's up to a nice bubble. It's going to be all done in there. Go ahead and put in the that lid to the side. Go ahead and put our pasta that we've infused with all those herbs and yummy flavors, including the flavors of the scallops. Gonna go ahead and just kind of nestle them down in there in that sauce. Let them get all nice and warmed up again and start soaking up all that yummy goodness. Oh boy, can't wait to dig into this. Let's go ahead and put that lid back on, and that'll be done in about 2 minutes. Alright, let's serve this up for you. Hope you brought your plate, because I tell you what, right now, that smells and looks freaking delicious. We're going to go ahead, go over here and get us some of this. Man, I'll tell you what, I made this for my shipmates when we went and got these, and they were blown away by it. I'm gonna go ahead and make a little garnish real quick. Just slice up a little basil, right fresh out of the garden there. Give that a little sprinkle over top, just like that. And of course, you know, around here, pasta dish is not complete without some Parmesan Reggiano. And I just learned this little trick, you know. You don't really need the micrograter. You can just kind of scrape this off with your knife. It's a hard cheese, so I think it's even a better look than the micrograted. But right there. Final little presentation, just a little bit of rosemary right there on the side. There you go, some wild caught bay scallops with Alfredo sauce. Gonna love it.
You mean this is all I get?
Do you remember how much effort it took to get down there to get that one little shell that make that one little tiny piece of meat?
I remember. Oh boy, do I remember. I'm ready to do it again.
Even after the girl got her leg bit off by the shark?
Yep.
So I did this little dish right here for the people we went over there and got these scallops with back at our Airbnb. And, you know, obviously I didn't have all my gear there, but I was able to do this dish anyway, just using the range top. So if you don't want to do it like we did it here today, believe me, it's just good with the range top. But, you know, doing it in the outdoors is much more satisfying. Plus you get a little bit of that smoky feel to the whole dish, and I think it makes it even better. I made that beautiful grilled bacon. Forgot to put it on. But just imagine what it would look like with it. So thanks for watching Backwoods Gourmet. If you like what we're seeing, please smash that like button right down there. You can subscribe right over there to watch another great Backwoods Gourmet adventure. It's going to be right over there. And for a whole playlist of cooking on that, Lodge Sportsmans Grill, going to be right up there. We'll see you next time.
Come on, I'm starving here.